So in last night's game plan, I made it very clear that the best level to short the market, to buy put options on the SPY was at 600.40 to 601, literally the exact highs on the day. And there was a bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmation in the pre-market right before the market opened. There was also a bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmation 30 minutes into the normal trading hours. With that being said, if you followed last night's game plan, you should have been in on those put options, as I made it very, very clear that the most likely outcome was a drop at market open. The level worked, the strategy worked, making losing a personal choice if you implemented last night's game plan. I also made it very, very clear in terms of the level to be buying call options. The first level I told you to buy call options was at the gap. I made it very, very clear in terms of the overall strategies that in terms of the put side, we had support here for an hour at $600.40. Once the SPY cracked this support, it never retested and it had a massive move to the downside. Therefore, in terms of the strategy, breakdown of support has a massive sell-off, overreaction to the downside, then an overreaction to the upside, retesting that previous support along with this previous resistance for the first time, likely going to react bearish first. Shortly enough, on the put side, there was a confirmation to buy puts right here. There was a confirmation to buy puts right here. And then in terms of the lower level that I gave you, the 598.70 make or break, well, there was a red, green, red bearish pattern forming lower highs for 90 minutes straight. Another great opportunity to buy puts to play for the gap to fill below. In terms of this level for calls, this was the level that I recommended to buy call options at for a gap reversal, along with the breakout and retest. We had previous resistance on the SPY, so this is the inverse of the breakdown and retest. This is the inverse where you can buy calls instead of the puts, right? So we went over the breakdown and retest, and then in terms of the breakout and retest, we had a break in a gap and go, a breakout above this previous resistance at 595.77, massive move to the upside. When the SPY quickly drops back down to test that previous resistance, it's likely going to react to support. Shortly enough, there was a green bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmation at the gap, and the SPY did end up having another gap close reversal. The SPY has literally reversed at every single gap successfully over 95% of the times throughout the past 50 trading days. Losing should have been a personal choice for you. In terms of tonight's game plan, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm going to be getting straight into the money-making information. In terms of Team Roar, losing was a personal choice. The first two morning trades were spot on, phenomenal wins. We did calls first, then puts. With that being said, I'll be breaking down the trades that we ended up making towards the end of this video. It was not my best trading day. I'll be going over that. But let's get straight into the money-making plan. So this is going to be very simple, man. If you are serious about making money, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. What we do is we provide to you the best levels in these trading plans for you to make money. We teach you the strategies and confirmations to use at these best levels. We teach you how to become self-sufficient, and then we give you the opportunity, if you like, to join our groups, to join our community, so you can gain access to the best trades alerted to you in real time on zero-date options. So in terms of how the market is setting up, this candlestick on the daily chart is bearish. This is a bearish daily candlestick. Based off of what I'm seeing by going throughout the chart history, it is saying that there's going to be a phenomenal opportunity to be buying put options at my new key levels of interest to be buying put options on. And the stock market is likely going to have a bearish trend day heading into tomorrow. So the main focus is going to be buying put options at the new resistance levels. So along with what I'm seeing on the daily chart pattern, I'm also seeing a very similar 30-minute chart pattern. So you can see right here, we had this strong move slanted to the right side during extended hours trading session. Right now, we're having this strong move slanted to the right side during the extended hours trading session. So what happened was, once we had this strong move to the upside, and then we hit normal trading hours, the SPY had a massive drop back down towards those previous day lows, and then it spiked right back up. So based off the daily chart and based off the 10-day, 30-minute pattern, the market is going to be setting up for a phenomenal opportunity. In terms of the level of interest that I have for you, the first level is going to be the following. As you can see right here, we have previous support. Do you see the previous support right here at 598? The SPY had a breakdown below the previous support. This is the same exact strategy I taught you on how I created that key level in last night's video. The difference is it's a lower key level. The daily chart pattern is aligned with the level. The 10-day, 30-minute pattern is aligned with the level. The first level of interest to buy put options is going to be at 598. 598 is going to be the first level of interest. This previous support cracked. The SPY had a massive overreaction to the downside. The SPY had a massive overreaction to the upside. Therefore, when it tests this previous support, this previous breakdown level for the first time, it's likely going to react as a resistance, likely going to form a new lower high, which it already attempting is. So the first level of interest is going to be 598. The second level of interest is going to be towards pre-market highs. Wherever you're seeing resistance form in the pre-market towards market open, especially if it's at 598 or slightly above, that's going to be a strong level of interest to buy put options. Another level of interest is going to be the previous day highs. We're going to call it at the $600 mark. That's the game plan in terms of put options, and the sell-off is likely going to occur within the first 30 minutes from market open. So it's going to be a very similar setup compared to today's overall setup, right? Now, in terms of the overall level, like I said, man, keep an eye on that. You can even call it, man, you can keep an eye on 599. You can keep an eye on 600, man. Look, pre-market highs, 598, 599, 600. That overall zone, 30-minute bearish candlestick confirmation, pre-market resistance, that's all going to give you the right direction in terms of right timing. I'm telling you, it's going to be early. So use the 30-minute candlestick bearish confirmations. Losing should be a personal choice. It's going to start to drop right back down, right? So those are the zones for puts. The pre-market's going to help give you a better direction. The 30-minute candlestick bearish confirmations are going to give you a better overall direction as well at the levels to use it at. And then in terms of timing, it's going to be early. It's going to be likely within the first hour of market open. Now, in terms of the levels for calls, heading into tomorrow, there's really only going to be 3 oversold levels for calls. The first level I have for you, so we ended up closing at 597.53. So heading into tomorrow, I want you to use that as the make or break support level for puts. So I want you to think of this as like the worst level to buy puts, and sometimes the worst level could be the best level, but I want you to think of 597.53, the previous closing price. I want you to think of that as an opportunity to buy put options on a support breakdown. So the best levels start at 598 and then 599 and 600 in terms of timing. Like I said, market open, and the pre-market chart will give you a better direction on what level, along with the 30-minute candlestick bearish confirmation. I'm making this video one day in advance, right? But if you use this information, you're going to bank. So I want you to think of the previous closing price as a make or break support level. I am not fucking interested in buying calls at the previous closing price as of now. So I want you to think of this as the lower support level. Once we go under 597.50, break down, react as a resistance. That's your lower level, right? So in terms of yesterday, I told you the lower level was 598.70 and the best level was 600 to 601. So your lowest level for puts is 597.50. We crack under, spike back up, form the new lower high, react as a resistance. That's your lowest level if you're shorting the key breakdown. 598, 599, 600, that's considered the resistance levels. Your lowest level, where the bears take full fucking control in terms of support, not at resistance, 597.50 is the lowest level for puts. In terms of calls, this is what I have for you. First level of interest is going to be below 595. If we're being exact, it's going to be this extended hours low at 594.62. 594.62 to 595 zone is going to be the first level of interest to be buying call options. The level under that is going to be 593.50. The level under that is going to be 592 to 591 zone. In terms of the market, like I said, it could be setting up for an overall bearish trend day. You got to be extremely careful with calls. It's best to wait later into the day, and it's best to go with the lowest oversold levels. So keep an eye on 595. Once it goes out of the money, we can quickly spike to in the money on those for a scalp. Keep an eye on 593. Very unlikely that we drop that low. And then in terms of like an amazing level where we're just likely going to bounce first, like an auto buy level, 591. Based off the extended hours pattern, we are likely going to see a bounce in between this range of 594.50 to 594 to 593.50, right? So that's going to be your bounce zone. Very simple game plan. If you use these levels with the 30-minute candlestick patterns that I've been teaching you, that I've been recapping the trades that we've been making within these overall lessons, you shouldn't have a problem going green heading into tomorrow. So it's a very simple game plan, man, and I gave it to you. Like I said, for those of you who implemented last night's game plan, you should be very green on the overall day. The level I give you for puts was the exact highs, top ticking the SPY buying the puts at the exact fucking lows a night in advance. The level I give you for calls, I literally gave you 3 levels for calls. The first level, the upper level, was the exact lows. And there was a 30-minute green bullish candlestick. These were the levels I drew out. This was the put zone. This was the lower put zone. There was confirmations for puts on every single put level to buy puts. There was confirmation for calls at the gap reversal, man. Everything I said in last night's video played out to a perfect T. We had the gap and go. The SPY crashed at market open at the best fucking level. And then the SPY reversed at the previous resistance to react to support at the gap reversal level. The breakdown and retest strategy worked on the short side at our best level zone for puts. It also worked at the lower level for puts. And then in terms of the breakout and retest and the gap and go and retest and the gap reversal, it worked for calls. Every single level I gave you worked out to an exact T. This is the best channel you're ever going to fucking find, giving you the best levels within the game. In terms of inside of our groups, we give out the best trades, right? So if you want to see us trade in real time, it's the first link down below in the description. In terms of a great confirmation to buy put options, there was a great confirmation at the lower level right here. I'm going to walk you through this. You can see right here, if you look at the pattern, this was the red, green, red, red, green, red, all these lower highs, SPY sells off. Well, we had that same pattern form at the lower level. This was the lower level, the 598.70. And then you're going to see we have lower highs forming for 90 minutes straight, red, green, red, buy put options on the opening on this, right? I did end up buying puts, but unfortunately, I made the mistake of letting the 1 minute chart persuade me. So when I got in these puts, I quickly got out of the overall trade and I didn't let it play out, which was a mistake. The 1 minute chart was looking bullish at the time, and I did end up switching sides. In terms of my experience, when I switch sides, it only tends to work out when I win. So if I'm on, let's say I'm on puts, and then I have a nice little win, and then I quickly switch to calls, it tends to work out. But if I'm in on puts and I have a fucking loss, and then I switch, it tends to not work out in a sense. So unfortunately, in terms of my trading, I let the 1 minute chart overpower and persuade the overall 30-minute chart. It happens, man. Mistakes overall happen. But in terms of the overall trades, man, if you use last night's game plan, and if you took the morning trades, losing should have been a personal fucking choice, man. Because like I said, in the morning, we had 2 phenomenal wins, man. The game plan was on point in terms of going short once we go under 597.84. And, you know, as you can see, this is our 0-day options trading alert system that you gain access to inside of Team Roar. But directly at market open, we did 601 calls for 50 cents a contract, and we were adding into the winners, and those quickly went up to 85 cents a contract. And you know, we're setting profit stops. Typically, when we're up 20% is a great time to set profit stops. If you're a beginner, 10% is a great mark once you hit the double digits. But yeah, man, it went from literally 50 cents a contract, and we were adding into the winners all the way to 85 cents a contract to 91 cents a contract. Calls were up 40 cents. So the first trade in the morning was a win. And then in terms of the second trade, you're going to see puts 10:02 a.m. The 30-minute candlestick closed red and bearish. What did I tell you in last night's game plan? This was the put zone right here. This was the put zone right here. We have 90 minutes of resistance. We have 2 red bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations at the put zone. Buy the fucking puts. 30-minute candlestick closes red. 10:02 a.m. We're in puts. The game plan worked out to a fucking T. So we did end up doing puts at 10:02 a.m. 597 puts for 46 cents a contract, adding to the winners. And then as you could see, the puts quickly went up to, you know, literally 80 cents plus a contract, right? That was another phenomenal win. And then in terms of the trades after that, you know, it wasn't the greatest, but like I said, flipping green to red on a day is a personal choice. If you have 2 nice wins in the morning, that's green enough to call for the day. And if you choose to trade, the most you risk is half your gains, ideally no more than 25 to 30%, right? And then if you hit that max risk for the day, you have to force yourself to call it, because then you're at risk of going green to red on the day, which is something that we don't do. If we did that, we wouldn't use fucking profit stops, man. We use profit stops to ensure that we always win when we're up on a trade, right? So losing was a personal fucking choice. Literally every single day inside of Team Roar, the winning trades in the morning are literally green nearly every single fucking time, man. So this works. If you are serious about making money and you would like to experience this 0-day options trading alert system, it's going to be the first link down below within the description. Like I said, in terms of my trading, the main mistake that I made today, I had a bearish confirmation on the 30-minute candlestick chart, but the 1 minute chart had a lot of bullish momentum at the time. And instead of letting the trade play out, I decided to quickly cut the puts and switch sides based off the 1 minute chart rather than the 30-minute candlestick confirmation, right? And that was the mistake, man, letting a short-term time frame dictate my actions on a trade that I should have just held because the confirmation said to hold, right? But it was looking a little bit bullish on the 1 minute chart. So I'm telling you, trading the higher time frames and holding for longer periods of time is going to be the easiest way to go about things. If you just trade the 1 minute chart, it's going to be very erratic and you're going to be switching sides at time, which is something in the past I would normally focus on with quicker scalps. And it was just one of those situations where it just led back to old behaviors, right? Because this is a new overall style of trading. But like I said, man, it was just one of those things where the 1 minute chart spooked me out in a sense. But on the overall day, this was a pretty good day, in a sense. But it was not my best day, man. In terms of the trade after that, I did SPX calls. In terms of SPX calls, they went up 50%. I chose to hold, and it did not work out. I was up 50% on this trade. I chose to hold the trade. It did not work out. But like I said, man, if you're up like 20% at least, you should be setting profit stops. But it was just one of those situations where I wanted a big win. And you can want a big win, but it's always wise to secure and protect your overall profits by setting the profit stops, right? This is all your personal choice. But I took these SPX calls at like 200 a contract on this V-shaped recovery once we started to fill the gap. And once there was green bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations. But I was holding for the big win because I genuinely believed that SPY had a chance of going back to 598 to 599 zone. I thought SPX can hit 6,000 a contract. And in this particular situation, if the trade would have worked out, it would have been, at least 300 to 400% profit returns on SPX. But unfortunately, the big move didn't occur in terms of what we were looking for until after hours. We had some members, they were doing 0 dates and they held like 598 calls. So after hours, we had some members do 1 date expiration. They wanted to buy extra time. But the big move that we were anticipating on calls didn't happen until after hours. So in that situation, if you didn't lock in profits or set the profit stops, it would have went green to red on that overall situation. So aiming for the bigger win cost me, not setting the profit stops cost me on that particular situation. It was not my greatest overall day. But the way I see it was losing was definitely a personal choice. When the game plan was to a T, when the confirmations were at the game plan, and the first 2 trades on the day were wins, and even my trade on calls went up 50%. So for those of you who are serious about trading a long side with us, it's the first link down below within the description. You gain access to our 0 date options trading alerts in real time. We're known for buying cheap, far out of the money option contracts that are extremely low risk. We're known for holding them and selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains within the market. In terms of the 0 date options trading alert system that we've created, we do not use stop losses. You can put in your entire position size as the max risk per trade. Therefore, a stop loss is not needed. You know exactly how much you're going to lose. Whatever you put into the contracts is the most you can lose on these naked options. And we're known for setting profit stops, right? So we don't set stop losses because if you set the stop loss, you're going to get stopped out and you're going to lose. But if you set the profit stop when you're green on a trade, that means you're going to get stopped out for an overall profit. So we're doing the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. And in terms of profit stops, we move the profit stop up higher to ensure that we don't get back the bulk of our gains. And we also add to winners. When we're up a small amount, 5, 10, 20%, we set the profit stops to make sure we don't go green or red. We add to winners because we're known for winning big. When we win on that winning confirmation, we tend to sway away and avoid adding to losers and averaging our costs down. We like to add to winners because when we're up a little bit, 5, 10, 20% for us is a small amount. We tend to win big, right? So to increase our winning, we add. Like I said, man, just on the morning trades, if you studied, we were literally adding into the winners. And both of these morning trades went up basically 100%. And we were quickly adding into the overall wins. So within the first 2 trades alone, within the first hour, you should have been done. We had some members, when I took those puts, they held. We had one member hold the puts. They made over $1,000. Like I said, man, I made the mistake of cutting, man. Never let a small overall price movement on the 1 minute chart dictate that overall move of holding. That was the main mistake I made, man. It's just resorting back to old behaviors in a sense. It definitely was not my best day in terms of my own personal trading, man. It happens, man. Some days you wake up with brain fog, or some days, it's just you're not performing at your overall best. Some days you resort back to old trading behaviors, right? You used to trade a certain way. Now you trade it completely differently. Sometimes, things happen, but you always got to remember that foundation. That 30-minute candlestick is a foundation for you to hold. And if you stick with that, you should be right for the vast majority of the time. But if you're going to let smaller time frames sway you away from that and switch sides, that's my biggest mistake I've noticing in terms of losses is when I switch sides. It's best to just not do that. And that's something that I'm really just going to avoid doing because it just doesn't tend to work out well for me, especially if the first one is a loss and then I switch sides. So just things to be aware of, man. It happens to the best of us. We're all human. But like I said, man, overall, today was a fantastic day where those first 2 morning trades were fucking incredible. And we were adding to the winners. So you should have been more than green enough to call it. And if you choose to trade, the most you risk is like 25 to 50% of your gains. So if you're serious about trading alongside with us, we have the highest win rate in the game doing this with 0 to option trading strategy. If you'd like to try out something new and hold for the bigger wins by risking less, it's the first thing down below with the description. We have many members who are making $500 to $1,000 a day. We have some members who are making 5 figures a week. We have some members who are making over 6 figures a month trading 0 to 8 options alongside with us. We have two multi-millionaires within the group who are active. It's the first link down below in the description if you would like to experience this. We have many members within the overall program who absolutely love the community and they make money off the alerts. It's the first link down below within the description if you like to try this out. Like I said, man, what we do differently over here is in terms of the content that I'm providing to you, I teach you how to become self-sufficient. I give you the levels to make money at, and I teach you how to become self-sufficient by using the levels. So you should be able, if you implement the levels and what it is that I'm teaching you, because I'm giving you the best levels in the game, also teaching you the best strategies to use to confirm that these levels are going to work. So you should already be able to make money before you even join the group, right? So if you're doing well and you want to experience this with us and trade alongside our community, it's the first thing down below within the description. Like I said, man, you got to take action and you got to implement what it is that I'm teaching you because this works. We have multimillionaires in the group who are using this. So if you're serious about making money, man, follow the levels, use the levels, they work. Use what it is that I'm teaching you, confirm at the levels, become self-sufficient, become a better trader. And then if you like to trade alongside with us, it's the first thing down below within the description. You're going to also be able to learn how to trade by just trading alongside with us and seeing what we're doing in real time, right? So it's the first thing down below in the description. Way to learn how to trade is to actually trade. With that being said, I'm going to be signing off.